and gentlemen, how we doing tonight, guys? Welcome to Believers Talk. My name is Joe, and welcome to a post-game edition of Believers Talk, where we look over the game yesterday between the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins. A game where the Buffalo Bills win 37-20. A game the Buffalo Bills now move to 7-3 on the NFL season. Again, guys, thank you for joining me on Believers Talk. As most of you already know, I normally like to go live on Monday following the game. Give myself time to rewatch the game, take some notes. I got some notes here, and kind of relax while I watch the game. There's no need to hurry up. I know that hashtag Sports does a great job giving you your coverage right after. So if you're not already subscribed to hashtag Sports, go over to Mara and Paul and subscribe to them. They did a great job yesterday giving you the post-game show about half an hour after the game. I like, again, rewatching the game as I broadcast the game live for you guys. Then I rewatch the game, and then I go ahead and take some notes and give you the coverage live after on Monday during halftime of Monday Night Football. Hey, Apex, hey Anthony, how you doing? Welcome to Believers Talk. Really appreciate you guys joining me. Anthony Weber, good to see you in here. I'm gonna wait a little bit. I know we're only at the 2 minute warning in Monday Night Football, but guys, I'm bored. I'm bored watching this game. 7-6. LaShawn McCoy, ex-Buffalo Bill, only player to get into the end zone. Looks like the Kansas City Chiefs were driving again as I turned off my phone, but definitely not the offensive shootout that people were expecting as they hit the 2 minute warning there. The Chargers are moving up and down the field, but man, I need some sleep. I always need some sleep, David. But hey, I always enjoy giving you guys great Buffalo Bills content. So again, thank you guys for joining me. Excellent win for Buffalo Nation. Hopefully, we continue to play great. Young King comes in. Absolutely, I would love to see us play well. The remainder of the schedule, we all know how tough that schedule is coming up. We all know we have those brutal games. First, starting off with after next week, we play the Denver Broncos. And guys, join hashtag Sports either here or on Sportscaster, as they're going to give you live play reaction to the game between the Buffalo Bills and the Denver Broncos. So make sure that you join them for that. And then I'll be joining you Thanksgiving afternoon, I should say, as the Buffalo Bills go into Dallas on Thanksgiving, play the Dallas Cowboys week 13. I'm really looking forward to that. Hope you guys can join me again. Enjoy some food, some family, and then come on here and enjoy some Buffalo Bills football. We're talking Buffalo Bills football throughout that game, so make sure you join me for that. This is the first time in a while that I can say I laughed at other QBs throwing interceptions, because our QB doesn't do that anymore, says Anthony. Let's talk about the awesome win, says Apex. Also, congrats. Thank you, Anthony. Yesterday I hit the 1,000 subscriber mark, so I appreciate it. And I want to say thank you to everybody out there who is subscribed to Believers Talk. If you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button, guys. As you're entering the chat room, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button, guys. If you haven't already, in the description below, you'll find my Twitter feed. You'll find my Facebook feed on there as well. Go ahead and click on those links, and then go ahead and either share or like or follow. I don't know what you kids do on these social media sites, but I try to stay up to date on those as much as possible, especially on Twitter. So if you're not following me on Twitter, go on there. Great time to start cranking ingredients up the confidence. Yeah, and I do want to talk about that a little bit. And Kevin Johnson needs to continue seeing more action, says Young King. He played really well yesterday. Tremaine had himself a game. Yes, absolutely. They all had themselves a pretty good game yesterday. Anthony Weber comes in. But the first thing I want to talk about before we get into the pros and cons from this game, and again, guys, I believe that there are pros and cons to every single game. Whether you win or you lose, you can take something positive, you can take something negative. And we have some positives and negatives from the game yesterday, and I think we all can admit that. Always room to grow. Let's go Buffalo, says Timothy. New year, new Bills. I hope so, man. 7-3 right now is looking pretty good. And again, if you guys bet when Vegas put the over-under on Bills wins at 6 like this guy did, you're already making money. So it was a great win for the Buffalo Bills yesterday for a multitude of reasons. So great job by the Bills to go to 7-3. But I don't want to start off talking about my positives and negatives. We'll get to those. We will. But what I want to start off by talking about is the same thing we talked about last week, the same thing we've been talking about all season. I know we're excited. We put up 37 points, the most point production we put up all season. Dable's up in the booth now, looks better. I know we're excited. But again, guys, we need to relax. A small sample size against, I believe, the 28th defense in the NFL. I'm not saying that's a terrible thing. It was a really good thing, and our offense looked like they're making strides, and that's a great thing. But you don't want to get too high here. The reason why you don't want to get too high after this kind of a win against a team that we could have beat and should have beat is because that's how you get to your low of lows when we lose games to Cleveland Browns, things like that. So let's take a step back. It was a great win. I'm happy about the win. And I also don't want to minimize the win. A lot of people, I was more excited about the balanced game plan, says Apex, and we will talk about that. That's actually one of my positives. Facts. Talk about it, says Timothy. I mean, again, let's just kind of relax. Everyone's kind of excited again. Buffalo wins. Oh, we have Allen has over 300 all-purpose yards. Brown looks great. He's actually leading the AFC in receiving yards. We'll talk about all that, of course. But let's take a step back. We're 7-3. That's great. Much better than what a lot of people thought we were. But again, this team, this league in itself is just very fickle, right? One week somebody looks great, the next week they don't look so great. Things keep changing, parts keep going here and there. One week you're talking wild card, next week you're talking, oh, they might be eliminated. Next week you're talking, hey, they might win the division. So let's calm down, let's pump the brakes a little bit. I'm excited, but a small sample size. However, I don't want to minimize this win. Going into the game yesterday, I was listening to sports radio, and they talked about the Miami Dolphins and how the Miami Dolphins were 5-0 in their last 5 games against the spread, including winning back-to-back games. What does that mean? That means they were playing teams tough, right? And I'm not saying they didn't give a tough game yesterday, but what I am saying is we beat a division rival on the road, and they had momentum on their side and confidence on their side. We beat them by 17. Not only we beat them by 17, I truly felt like we had that game in hand pretty much the whole time. Now, definitely seemed like at times the Bills weren't going for that cutthroat mentality of going for the win. But let's not get this twisted, right? We went on the road, played a division rival, right? And we beat them, a team that after the last 5 games, like I said, has at least covered the spread against their opponents, beat the Colts, beat the Jets in back-to-back weeks, and we beat them. Now, of course, we know the narrative from the national media is not going to change, right? We just beat the Dolphins. Again, a lot of media outlets were saying, oh, the Dolphins might win this game, or oh, the Dolphins might cover the spread. But as soon as they lose, and they lose pretty big to the Buffalo Bills, it's like, well, they just beat the Dolphins. They're beating the teams they're supposed to beat. And hey, let them underestimate us. We have a couple Bills players making some strides, making improvements. And not only that, leading the league or pretty close to leading the league in certain categories. And we're going to talk about that tonight, in this edition of Believers Talk. Anthony, we have a 52% chance of making the playoffs if we are 9-7. I think you're saying 98% chance of making the playoffs if we're 10-6. These games are all important from here on out. Absolutely 9-7. He corrects himself. Keep Dable in box, calling our offense, says Young King, in every game for the rest of the season except for the Patriots. Yeah, I did see Mario and Paul talk about that yesterday. The Patriots game, how the Patriots are known for having their earpieces or whatever they're called, the going out at the game, and then all of a sudden not being able to communicate with your quarterback. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, he did a lot better in the booth, but number 2 corner needs help, says Timothy Sherry. Yesterday, I thought Kevin Johnson did play pretty well, and we'll talk more about that as well. Our defense looked beast. We will talk about the defense. Young King says 12-4, baby. Would love to see 12-4 again. At the beginning of the season, I said 11-5. I hope that we can still hit that mark. Joe Get It Black says Bills fans are overreacting. Calm down, or clam down is what he says, but I think he means calm down. And we did talk about that a little bit in the beginning of the show. We do need to calm down. A lot of Bills fans need to calm down. It was a great showing by the Buffalo Bills. Let's not get it wrong. But at the same time, it was a one-game thing. One thing we want to see from a great team, you want to see consistency. Bills haven't put that together yet. Now, the team that we put on the field yesterday can play against anybody. I truly believe that, even against the Ravens, who we got in 3 weeks. However, is it 3 weeks, 4 weeks, maybe 4 weeks? But anyway, I just think that we need to see it on a consistent basis. We need to see Dable up in that booth making the right play calls like he did yesterday. And that's where we're going to start. When you talk about the good from this game, you have to start with the play calling. Apex comes in. I would love to have our offense look like a juggernaut, but I'll take a win any way we can get it. Timothy Sherry says right, 100%. So the first good of this game is play calling, and that's something that we've rarely been able to say this season, right? You talk about Brian Dable, you talk about him up in the booth, you talk about him being able to maybe read defenses a little bit better, being able to talk to Josh Allen as he's seeing the defense. They talked about a lot yesterday on hashtag sports coverage, post game coverage of the Bills game, that Dable is able to talk to Josh Allen up until 15 seconds on the play clock, so Dable can run, look at the formation, and see what the defense is giving him, and then tell Allen, a young quarterback, where he wants to look, first, second, third progressions, and then what he wants to do if that's not there. If you watched the Buffalo Bills yesterday, there were a lot of times where the Bills tried to get the playoff, especially in the first couple quarters, with like 10 seconds left to go on the play clock, so that way Allen and Dable can be talking up to the last second, and then Allen can read what he needs to read and snap the ball. And then he sees things a little bit better, and that's how you help a young quarterback grow. And then also something that Paul talked about hashtag sports yesterday, instead of Dable and Dorsey both in Allen's ear on the sideline, Dable could talk to Dorsey and say, hey, tell Allen he needs to do this. And then Dorsey can put in his own words, and then you have that one-on-one communication. You don't have Dable constantly right there as well. And we knew Dable was more comfortable in the booth anyway. I don't know why it's asked me to review that. You didn't, you even put dollar signs, but that's okay, Justin. I'll absolutely accept that. I love Kevin Johnson, says Timothy. Easy Tim, says David. Young King says facts. We targeted McKenzie a whole lot, not enough production. Keep him for jet sweeps. Well, also, and that's something else I want to talk about with the offensive play calling. You see those jet sweeps. You see that the defense having to spread out a little bit more. We even gave McKenzie the ball on a couple of maybe just one of those jet sweeps, but at least one, if not a few, of those jet sweeps. So it's good to see them using McKenzie for his speed, and we need to continue to see that. I like the jet sweeps. Now, I know a lot of you are still upset that Duke Williams is on the inactive list. I'm a little befuddled by that personally, just because of the type of receiver he is. There has to be something there that we don't know, right? Whether it be a personal issue, whether it be a team issue, or whether it be still trying to get back from that injury. It will be interesting to see that. I will say, however, if you're following me, you know that I am partnering with BewareTheStampede.com. Go to BewareTheStampede.com for all your Buffalo Bills news. Beware the Stampede reached out and said that he hopes that Duke Williams can play. Duke did respond, hoping that he can get back on the field soon, so that's good to see as well. Duke continuing to try to get back on the field, but we don't know what it is. Is it an injury thing? Is it something not looking right in practice? We're not sure. But again, I'm sure the team's making the best decisions with what they know. There are things that we don't know. I want to see Duke Williams on the field only because I think he adds a different skill set than the other players. Now, again, Mario and Paul yesterday talked about how Dawson Knox might soon start becoming that go-to receiver, that possession receiver that I think Duke Williams could be if he's given a chance here in the NFL. Duke is a spy, says Dave Pelota. I agree, Joe. I think it's his shoulder, says Anthony Weber. We know that he had the shoulder injury the past couple weeks, so we'll see if that is a continuing thing for him. But again, he's not showing up on the injury report either, so he hasn't shown up on the injury report for the past 2 weeks. So it's just an interesting dilemma to have here. Obviously, it did not go into effect too much yesterday. We were able to get the job done anyhow, but you look back to that Browns game, I think there are definitely times Andre Roberts was in there when you definitely had someone like a Duke Williams in there, might have added a different threat to the Buffalo Bills offense. But again, yesterday, the offensive play calling, just a great job by Dable. Again, whether it be Dable in the booth, whether it be the Miami Dolphins having a terrible defense, or whether it be the fact that we've already played this team once, we're playing them for the second time, or whether it be a combination of those three things, still improvement from what we've seen in the past. Again, this team played the Dolphins before. It did not look that good on offense this time in Miami, able to get the job done. Now, again, the weather's not going to be as nice as it was in Miami. That could also be a factor, right? The weather yesterday was 60 degrees, 10-mile-per-hour winds. It was pretty good, pretty perfect day for football. Come back up to Buffalo, you got 40-mile-per-hour winds, and it's a little bit harder to throw the ball with consistency. So we'll see if that improves as well. But for the day, Josh Allen still looked pretty good. My second good is the Bills' front seven on defense, right? You talk about that front seven on defense. Leslie Frazier calling a lot of blitz packages. You normally do not see that from the blitz package. Justin comes in. I think Paul from Hashtag has a great idea to activate Duke and deactivate Lee Smith. Duke can pretty much do everything Smith can and more. Duke Williams, or I mean, I even see the other tight end, who I can't think of his name, Sweeney, on the inactive list, and I wonder if Sweeney can't do what Lee Smith can do. Obviously, we didn't see anything from Lee Smith yesterday, so I'm not sure why he's still on the active roster, and someone like a Duke Williams or Tommy Sweeney just is not on the active roster. Thank you, JMG21, for coming in. And again, guys, if you haven't already hit that like button, guys, hit that like button. If you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button for continual Buffalo Bills sports. Keep you covered on all Buffalo sports, but mostly cover the Buffalo Bills. But we keep covering on the Sabres. Sabres lose a tough one yesterday to the Chicago Blackhawks. Just didn't look like they had the legs after a back-to-back to be in that game, and the Chicago Blackhawks took advantage of that in Chicago. I keep covering on the Buffalo Bulls, both men's and women's basketball teams having wins over the weekend, so good job by them. Unfortunately, the Bulls football team can't pull it out. I think that was Thursday night, allowing 24 points in the fourth quarter to lose that game. But keep you updated on all Buffalo sports, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like this video. Completely agree with Anthony. It's why our red zone percentage is so high. Anthony says Josh is 5th in league in rushing TDs. He's actually first among quarterbacks too, and we also talk about that. Josh is a red zone monster. He was last year and he is this year again. So second, I want to talk about the Buffalo Bills front seven. You want to talk about something that's a monster. This Bills front seven came out and they were unbelievable yesterday. And again, different blitz packages from Leslie Frazier, something we're not used to seeing by the Buffalo Bills. And it just is very interesting, the timing of this, right? You're talking about the second game against the Dolphins. You're talking about coming into our tough stretch with the Cowboys, Ravens, Steelers, Patriots. You're talking about coming into that stretch and the Buffalo Bills defense trying to create new wrinkles for other offensive coordinators to have to look at, because one thing they did use a little bit of cover-up, says Joe Gita Black. Yeah, I do agree with you. And one thing that I love about the 7 sacks, guys, is not a single Buffalo Bills player had more than 1 sack, right? You look at the list of guys who had a sack in yesterday's game, and I talked in the beginning about guys who are close to the league lead. Who's second in the league lead in sacks by defensive tackles? That's right, Jordan Phillips. Jordan Phillips gets another sack in this one. This is 7 on the season for him, only behind Aaron Donald for defensive tackles and sacks. So great job by Jordan Phillips continuing to get to the quarterback. Still not impressed by how long they took off. I'm not sure. Shouts out to our offensive line for protecting Allen very well. No sacks for the Miami Dolphins in this game. Talking about the 7 sacks for the Buffalo Bills. Talking about Star Lotulelei getting a sack, and Star Lotulelei had himself a great game, reading a couple of those screen passes, being able to beat single coverage and be able to get into the running mix a little bit. Again, guys, they only had about 20 rushing yards against us as well. And you talk about this poor run defense. Well, it wasn't there yesterday. And if you guys recall, it was that first game against Miami where people started saying, whoa, the Bills are showing weakness in the run game here. Let's watch out for that. And then we get, of course, burned by the Eagles. We get burned by Adrian Peterson in the first half of that game. And then last week against Chubb and Hill, we get a little beat up there. But in this game, we show a lot of improvement in that run game. Yeah, thanks a lot, Timothy. Hit that like button, absolutely. Jordan Phillips needs to be retained here in Buffalo. Rough seeing Ty carted off. We will talk about that as well, Anthony, in a little bit. But yes, we do need to try to keep Jordan Phillips on a contract here. Hey, Daniel, how you doing? Welcome to Believers Talk. Getting to my second positive, and that's that defensive front 7. We talked about Star Lotulelei getting a sack, creating some mismatches in the run game, and also reading some screen passes really well. Jordan Phillips, second in sacks for defensive tackles, only behind Sam Darnold with 7 on the season. Shaq Lawson got a sack. Ed Oliver got his second sack of his NFL career. Corey Liuget, a guy that we just picked up 2 weeks ago, he gets a sack. Thank you, Daniel, for the congratulations. Love seeing that, and I'm so happy to be over 1,000 subs. And Jerry Hughes gets a sack in this game as well. Tremaine Edmonds and Matt Milano also split a sack. They both get half a sack in this game as well. So the pressure is coming from all over the place. Lorenzo Alexander almost had a sack in this game as well. So the pressure got to Ryan Fitzpatrick, but got to him from all different angles. You saw Teron Johnson blitz from the cornerback position, and he almost got to Fitzpatrick. So a lot of great blitzes. Did all 4 defensive tackles get a sack? Yeah, they did. You're talking about Corey Liuget, Ed Oliver. You're talking about Star Lotulelei and Jordan Phillips. all 4 of them getting sacks in yesterday's game. So great job. Love the defense. Absolutely did a great job yesterday. And again, the 20 points, the yards that we gave up might be a little deceiving. Obviously, they have that one kick return, which we'll talk about again in a second here. But I think a lot of those yards are junk yards. Obviously, Jarvis Landry had a monster day against us. Still not sure what Poyer saw on that first breakout play by Jarvis Landry, where Poyer fell down. I'm not sure if he didn't see Landry there and thought he had an easy interception, or if he got fooled by something and broke his ankle on the play. But you see Poyer fall down as Landry catches the ball, and he's able to run up the sideline for 50 yards. Not something you want to give up on a regular basis. Jarvis Landry, the first wide receiver to get over 100 yards on this Buffalo Bills defense this season. The Bills, the last team to give up a 100-yard receiver on the season. So good job by holding on to that for 10 weeks. Unfortunately, we couldn't keep it going. But hey, a great job nonetheless. Jarvis Landry has himself a day as well. Doesn't get in the end zone like our wide receiver did twice, but we will talk about that as well. My next positive, the things that you gotta think positively of, and this guy, we're able to knock him when he does poorly, right? Last week we threw him under the bus for the way he performed. I gotta talk about Steven Hauschka for a second. Guy around Joe, hey Apex, thank you for joining us. And yeah, guys, if you can't join me live, just go ahead and join this broadcast and leave a comment if you're not here live. Just let me know what you think about the game yesterday between the Buffalo Bills and Miami Dolphins. Always enjoy getting back to you guys and hearing what you guys have to say. But we need to talk about Steven Hauschka, right? First possession of the game, the Bills offense stalls. He has to kick a 51-yarder, and great job by Coach McDermott saying, hey, you know what, I still trust our kicker. I wasn't. If you were here for the live stream yesterday, I was saying, oh, I don't like this at all. I don't like Steven Hauschka for a 51-yarder after he missed a 53-yarder last week against Cleveland, but he nailed it. He nailed it, and he was 3 for 3 on field goals in the day, 2 for 2 on extra points. Really came up big for the Buffalo Bills. And again, I think that first possession really sets a tone. If we come away with no points on that first possession, completely different game. And plus, you have to think if we don't make that field goal, the Dolphins have great field position to start off the third game, and they start at the 41-yard line. So good job by Steven Hauschka in this game. I'm still not willing to give him his nickname of Steven Hausch Money back yet, but definitely an improvement from what we've seen in the past. So good job by him. I still don't know if I thought he looked comfortable yesterday, but he was able to make 3 kicks, so I'm happy about that. I think he did that for his confidence. Good on McDermott, says Anthony Weber. Yeah, I think I was smart on McDermott. Just he had no question, no qualms about it. He's at 51 yards. You go get it, Steven Hauschka. And Steven Hauschka, again, nailed it. It would have been good for maybe 55 yards. Obviously, we want to see a kicker maybe be able to kick a 60-yard every once in a while. But we have what we have right now. I don't think it gets better in free agency. So we keep Steven Hauschka. Maybe he'll come in handy down the line, kick a game winner here or there in the upcoming schedule. My last good that I want to talk about, Josh Allen to John Brown, right? Talk about Josh Allen to John Brown. John Brown had 9 receptions yesterday for 137 yards and 2 TDs. After this game, after yesterday's action, John Brown becomes the leading receiver in receiving yards in the AFC. Now, I think Travis Kelce is only 60 or 70 yards short of him, so depending on how Kelce does tonight, that might change. But right now, John Brown, last I saw, leads the AFC in receiving yards. So great job by John Brown. Great job by Josh Allen finding John Brown. Again, 14 targets, 9 receptions, 137 yards, and those 2 TDs. So I think that Josh Allen and John Brown both had a great game. You talk about Josh Allen having over 300 all-purpose yards, 3 passing touchdowns, and the 1 rushing touchdown, which you talked about earlier. Again, leading all quarterbacks in rushing TDs with 7. He, again, is a great red zone threat, as someone brought up earlier in the live stream, and just always fun to watch Josh Allen because he can make a play, right? He can make a play with his legs, and he's still a great passer when he's rolling out, right? Someone who can roll out on the run, make a good pass down the field, especially when he rolls to his right. When he rolls to his right, he seems to still have the confidence to be able to throw a cannon in there, and we've seen that time and time again. So good job by Josh Allen. I know a lot of people want to see him pass for over 300 yards. I'm more about the all-purpose yards. 300 all-purpose yards is great for Josh Allen. I think over 250 passing yards is wonderful. And, of course, we'll never say no to 4 TDs total. So good job by Josh Allen. John Brown, again, a great job by him. 9 receptions, 2 touchdowns, leading the league, or leading the AFC, I should say, in receiving yards as of this video. Again, that could change by the end of the night depending how Travis Kelce does in the game between the LA Chargers and the Kansas City Chiefs, which is 10-9 at halftime, which is funny because, again, when I was watching the Chargers, we're going up and down the field, but you have Rivers with 2 interceptions in this game. He hit all his kicks, but his effort on the long kick returns was weak. How much can we rely on a kicker for the kickoffs? And that's a good segue, Daniel, to the bad, because my first bad has to be those special teams on the kickoff returns, right? When you're talking about Stephen Hauschka on kickoff returns, and I brought this up yesterday in my live stream, and I wonder if you guys think there's merit to this, because yesterday, if you watch Stephen Hauschka kick the ball until the return for a touchdown, he wasn't kicking them into the end zone. He was doing those pooch kicks basically, and he was making Grant return it at around the 10 or inside the 5-yard line. The first 2 worked out great for Buffalo, right? The first one worked out really well because we got a block in the back penalty, put them inside the 10-yard line, started off. Lorenzo Alexander with a great play on first down, if you still remember that. But then all of a sudden, Grant, who is a fast guy, let's not make a mistake about it. On that touchdown, on that kick return for a touchdown, Stephen Hauschka actually does his job. He forces Grant to turn it back in where his defense or his special teams defense should be to help him out. Can Hauschka maybe get a hand on him to slow him down? Maybe. But have you tried to stop Grant in the open field? Tough to ask for anybody. And you're asking our kicker to do it. I just don't think that's something that's fair. But Stephen Hauschka was not booting him in the back of the end zone, which he had the leg to do. And I just wonder if the coaching staff wants him to save his leg a little bit throughout the game for those long field goal attempts. We saw a 53-yarder last week, and it was short. Not only was it going to be wide, it was short. Excuse me. So when you think about the Stephen Hauschka pooch kicking those kicks inside the 10, inside the 5, why wasn't he just blasting them? Maybe it's because they're trying to save his leg a little bit. You kick something repetitively enough times, you're going to lose a little energy in your leg, right? So maybe there's a correlation there. I'm not saying there is. I want to know what you guys think. Don't forget the onside kick recovered by Miami. Yeah, that was the second onside kick. I said yesterday in the live stream that was the first in the NFL this season. Actually, it's second in the NFL this season, and that's the 3rd year in a row where the Buffalo Bills have allowed an onside kick recovery to the Miami Dolphins. So that's something that needs to stop. Why it's always the Dolphins, I don't know. Great job by our defense bailing us out there, getting the fumble recovery, but still needs to stop. Again, you looked at the special teams. They were actually lined up on the other side of the 50 for that special teams kick. They were given 15 yards away, and so the Dolphins saw that. Good job by them. Good opportunity by the special teams to see that. Now, hopefully that's something that we will learn from, and we won't fall for it again later this season. If we are in a close game or something like that could come up, get our hands team out there maybe and make the play when we need to. But yeah, you talk about the kick return by Grant. Grant had another big return in this game in the 4th quarter, I believe it was, and then also the onside kick. 3 big mistakes by the special teams that can't happen. If you want to beat the tough teams, talking about the Dallas Cowboys, Baltimore Ravens, Pittsburgh Steelers, and Pittsburgh, New England, you can't beat those teams if you're going to allow things like that to happen. Great teamwork, says Timothy all day. Yeah, absolutely. So moving on to my next bad, that's going to be 3rd down efficiency. Guys, the Buffalo Bills were 5 for 14. Daniel says special teams has been an issue all season. They were an issue all last season, and it hasn't gotten any better, right? We hired a new special teams coach this year, and it still hasn't gotten better. We even picked up some free agents just for special teams. Robert Foster is now pretty much a gunner on this team, and that's pretty much all he does is special teams, and yet we still can't get the job done on special teams. I remember yesterday someone during the stream saying, remember when the special teams was our strong suit? And I do. The only bad thing is when our special teams was our strong suit, those were the seasons we were finishing 5-11, 4-12. But would love to have that special teams unit back here for the Buffalo Bills. Would make this team a lot better. But hey, hopefully these are things again that we learn from and continue to grow from. So going again, don't get how's he hurt? If he is healthy, he is money, no tackles. Many 3rd and longs, says anything well. But yeah, so our 3rd down efficiency is going to be my second negative. We went 5 for 14 yesterday, guys, and that's only 35.7%. We're only 36.5% on the season. So this is an ongoing problem for the Buffalo Bills. Now, we do get 22 first downs in this game. So obviously we got a lot of first downs on 1st and 2nd down, but we need to work on that 3rd down efficiency. If you look at 3rd down efficiency in the league so far, the top 2 teams are the Dallas Cowboys with over 50%, and right behind them, the Baltimore Ravens at about 49%, I believe it was. We are playing both those teams later this season. And in order for our defense to stay fresh, in order for our defense to be able to tackle Ezekiel Elliott, in order to get to Dak Prescott, in order to tackle Lamar Jackson, we need to keep them fresh. And a good way to keep them fresh is to convert on third downs, whether third and longs, third and shorts. Need to be able to run the ball with more efficiency on first and second down. Now, again, one of the positives from this game was the balanced attack. You talk about 34 rushes to 33 passes. That's a good mix of run to pass there, and that's something that we need to continue to do. But man, we cannot expect us to only convert 30% of the time, and a team like the Cowboys to convert 50% of the time. I think we have a chance to win that game. We really can't. Now, if you look at the Cowboys' schedule, they have not played against some elite defenses, so hopefully that plays into our favor a little bit, right? Our defense is great at forcing 3-and-outs, but you still have to do better on third down, better than 37%, whatever I said it was yesterday, 5-14, 35.7%. Still need to find a way to do better. And then my other negative, which really ties into that, is our red zone TD efficiency. Guys, going into this game, our red zone TD efficiency was over 80%. However, yesterday we went 2 for 4 in red zone TD efficiency. Again, thank goodness for Steven Hauschka making some kicks, because this game could have been closer than it was. And it should have also been a bigger blowout than was. The Bills score on their first 4 possessions. However, 3 of those 4 are field goals. So after those 4 possessions, the Buffalo Bills are only up 16-0. The Dolphins are down just 2 scores. After we score on 4 straight possessions, we need to do a better job. If 2 of those are touchdowns, the game's over already, right? I'm talking about being up 20-0 or possibly even 24-0, something like that. And the Miami Dolphins already feel like they're out of the game because they're more than 3 possessions behind. If you score on your first 4 possessions, it should be at least a 3-possession game. I'll give you 2 field goals, but give me 2 touchdowns in that case too. Again, 2 for 4 in the red zone. Obviously, the first field goal by Steven Hauschka, we did not get into the red zone. However, we did get in the red zone 4 times, which is great. You want to see numbers like that, but you want to convert more than just 2 times in the red zone. So that's another negative that I saw. Again, that goes with the third down efficiency. We had a couple third downs in the red zone that I thought we had bad play calling. A few times in this game we had bad play calling. Overall, great job by Dable, but you talk about possibly going a little too conservative too early, right? About 8 minutes to go in the game, I see us getting conservative. I did see a time where it looked like we were just trying to get John Brown to 10 catches, right? I think there were 2 or 3 balls that were forced to John Brown in a row. But another positive from this game, Allen, no interceptions. And Allen doesn't put the ball on the turf at all. Right? You talk about that running touchdown, he gets nailed as he's crossing the goal line. Holds on to that ball. So he does not put the ball on the ground a single time in this game. And he also does not throw an interception for the 5th straight game. Everyone wants to talk about production. Everyone wants to see this young quarterback continue to improve. Well, how much more improvement can he do? Again, yesterday, leading all fantasy quarterbacks in fantasy points, and that includes Lamar Jackson. He had himself a great day, and Lamar Jackson's been doing it all season, so you have to give respect, you have to give props where they're due. But again, Josh Allen with a great game yesterday, both with his legs, creating with his feet, and in the pass game, just finding Knox on that touchdown over the middle, 23-yard touchdown pass to Knox. Talking about finding John Brown 9 times. It's just amazing. 12 people in the chat, only 2 likes. Come on, hit that like button. Absolutely, Anthony. Go ahead, hit that like button, guys. We're talking about the Buffalo Bills post-game here, game where they beat the Dolphins. Again, move to 7-3. And again, as I said in the beginning, we don't want to get too excited. We have that gauntlet coming up, but it's the best time to get hot, right? You're talking about getting hot at the right time. You're talking about an offense that's had well over 350 yards, maybe over 400 yards in this game. And we have that gauntlet coming up that we keep talking about. Now, we played Denver this week. And again, guys, join #sports. Join Mario and Paul over at #sports for Buffalo Bills live play-by-play and reaction coverage to the game. Whether it be here on YouTube, their YouTube page link is in my description below, or over on Sportscaster, again, Believers Talk and #sports teaming up to give you the best live play-by-play and reaction coverage to every single Buffalo Bills game. That includes this Sunday against the Denver Broncos, so make sure you tune in for that with Paul and Mario. Maybe I'll tune in for a little bit, join you guys in the chat room, but I look forward to that game. Possibly the Buffalo Bills looking to go 8-3. Should we say 8-3? Remember, this is the best start that we've had after 10 games since 1999. I'm really liking this Buffalo Bills team. Hey, Buffalo Fanatics, thanks a lot. Thanks for joining us on the show, talking Buffalo Bills postgame. Did check out your postgame yesterday. You did a pretty good job yourself. Always enjoy watching Rico give his postgame coverage. You guys had some good videos out recently, so I appreciate your guys' content. And I always tell people go over to Buffalo Fanatics. Head out over to hashtag Sports Buffalo Fanatics. Listen, Bills Mafia have you guys covered for all Buffalo Bills information, whether it be Buffalo Fanatics, whether it be hashtag Sports, whether it be Blindsided Sports Buffalo Bills. You want to go over there. Great confidence builder for the offenses, Anthony Weber, absolutely. And whether it be Dable being up in the booth, whether that plays a big factor into it, or whether it just be us playing this team for the second time, whether us being in warm weather, we were finally in warm weather, we didn't have to worry about wind conditions, nothing like that, or whether it be a combination of those three things. I think Dable's finally comfortable. And let's talk about that for a second. You heard about Coach McDermott, right, coming out in this past week saying, hey guys, let's play a little more loose. Let's play a little more recklessly, I'll say, even though he doesn't want us to play. Reckless is probably a bad word for that, but hey, we will be the Ravens' weakness. If you look at this Buffalo Bills defense, it might be the perfect defense to go up against Lamar Jackson. And we'll talk about that more as that game's coming up, right? But you look at this, again, you look at our front seven sacks yesterday, all of them by a different player. So that's pretty impressive if you ask me. Not a single player had more than one sack. I think that's always a good stat to look at. Hoping the offense and defense stay aggressive, stay fearless, says Daniel Garis, and that's probably the best word for it. And we know that Dable likes being up in that booth, right? When we started with Nathan Peterman just last season, week 1, Brian Dable was in the booth. That's where he wanted to be. Unfortunately, we saw what happened with Nathan Peterman. We bring in the rookie quarterback Josh Allen, and Brian Dable decides that his best place is to be on the field to teach this young quarterback what he needs to do from a field perspective, be able to get that one-on-one conversation with him. Now we have Ken Dorsey in there as the quarterback coach. He can take over for that one-on-one conversation, and then Dable can go back up in the booth, see what he sees, and see if he can improve this team a little bit more. Again, we heard Paul yesterday at hashtag Sports talk about the Patriots. Now they're notorious for having their sound equipment go out and unable to have the upstairs coaches talk to the players on the field. But that's something we'll have to deal with when the time comes. Right now, I liked what I saw yesterday. Don't define position, let the position define you, says Jugetta Black. Yeah, absolutely. He said play fearless, says Dan. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. And it looked like we did a little bit. Right? It looked like we did. We finally were able to throw the ball around. Again, I think it was 6 or 7 receiving targets for Josh Allen yesterday. 6 or 7 guys with a catch in this game. You had John Brown 9, Cole Beasley 4 for 4 yesterday in reception. So that's always good to see a guy catching every single one of his targets. Would love to see Cole Beasley targeted more, right? But 4 for 4 for 38 yards, still pretty good. Dawson Knox 2 catches, 32 yards, and that touchdown. Isaiah McKenzie had 3 catches for 21 yards. He was targeted 6 times in this game. Still caught 3 of them, not that bad. And again, he does run that jet sweep fairly well. Then Gore, Croft, and Singletary all the catch in this game. So he spread it out pretty good here for the Buffalo Bills. Again, that's 7 different targets catching a ball for the Buffalo Bills in this one. So good job there. You want to look at our rushing numbers. You can talk about Devin Singletary, 15 rushes, 75 yards, averaging 5 yards carry. Again, Buffalo Bills do a great job mixing run and pass. 34 runs, 33 passes in this game. So almost a 50-50 split for the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen, 7 rushes for 56 yards. A lot of those by design, except for that TD run was not by design. He definitely looked at his progressions. No one's able to take off and does a great job seeing that open field and getting a touchdown. Frank Gore, 11 for 27. A little bit better in this game. Would still love to see more. That's only 2.5 yards per carry. But he did pick up I think it was a 3rd and 1 for the Buffalo Bills in this one. After Devin Singletary's second fumble, you did see a little bit more of Frank Gore in there. Maybe that was, thank you, Timothy. Yeah, absolutely, guys. Hit that like button. Maybe that was a little message to Devin Singletary. Hey, we can't have those fumbles. We talk about Josh Allen having fumble problems. I think this is just an outlier for Devin Singletary with those 2 fumbles as talked about again yesterday by Paul Maher and hashtag Sports. but I still think it was a problem. I still think the coaching staff needed to send a message. He was actually out, I believe, for 2 series after his second fumble. So maybe that's the message the Bills coaching staff is sending to Devin Singletary. Hey, we have to be able to hold on to that football. If you can't hold on to that football, we're going to find someone who does. And so they had Frank Gore in there again, 11 carries for 27 yards. And Isaiah McKenzie with 1 for 10 yards. He does get that one jet sweep for the 10-yard gain, which again, you have to throw that in there every once in a while so that the defense has to spread out, right? We talk about defense spreading out, being thin in certain positions. That's a good way to keep that going by running that jet sweep. And then they're not sure McKenzie's going to get the ball. And then we've seen McKenzie break those a couple times already this season. So hopefully that continues. Good to your comments here. Timothy Sherry says, let's go Buffalo. Absolutely. Epic War says, still worried going forward. Got a really tough schedule the rest of the way. I see wins versus the Broncos and Jets to get us to 9, but going to be tough beat at Dallas, at Pitt, at Pats, and home versus Ravens. And that's the tough part of our schedule. You have the luxury of having 3 home games in a row off the bye. Loved that. Have the luxury of having back-to-back home games after. Oh wait, no, we only had those 3, I think, back-to-back. Right? We played 2 on the road, 1 at home. But still, you guys get it. So you come out bye week, you have 3 home games. That sounds great. That sounds wonderful. But then there comes a stretch where you're going to have a lot of road games then. And this is that stretch for us. So if you look at the schedule and you say, hey, we can beat Denver. Hey, we can beat the Jets. Again, guys, I think we can beat any team on any given Sunday. I hate being cliche. But this league is just so fickle, right? It's just things change on a dime. So you think you have a team figured out, you think everything's going well. The Baltimore Ravens lost to the Jets this season, I believe it was, right? The Baltimore Ravens lost to the Jets. I mean, it's hard to imagine Baltimore Ravens losing to a bad team. They did. It's hard to imagine the Saints losing a bad team, especially at home. They did. They lost to Atlanta, who also won this week against Carolina. But still, this league always is flipping heads. You never know what's going to happen. That's why Vegas makes so much money, because people don't know how to bet it, because everything changes. It seems like every single week. Tonight, we thought we would be in for an offensive showdown, and it's 10-9 coming into the third quarter. Only 1 touchdown in this game so far, LaShawn McCoy. So I know what you're saying, Epic War. I know that we have to worry about. I think we have to worry about Denver, right? Take it 1 week at a time. We have to worry about Denver. Denver's not going to be an easy out. Denver almost beat Minnesota this past weekend. Denver always plays tough. They mostly play tough at home, so I'm glad that we have this game at home, but they always play you tough. I know that they have a rookie quarterback in there in Allen. I know that this Bills defense can do the job to confuse the kid and hopefully get away with that win. We know that they have a tough running game with Philip Lindsay in there too, and we know how this Bills defense has fared against some good running backs recently. So they can always stay in this game. So we have to look at the Denver Broncos as public enemy number 1 moving forward until this Sunday. And again, guys, join #sports for live play and reaction to that game. I look forward to it as the Bills are 7-3, looking to go 8-3 for the first time since at least 1999. So I look forward to that game. It was good to see they didn't sit him the whole game, just some time to think, says Anthony Webb. Yeah, and that's sometimes what you need. You just need to sit your young running back down and say, hey, just relax. Again, we're up pretty comfortably in this game. The one thing we can't have happen is to give them a turnover, give them a chance in this game. Again, after the Buffalo Bills scored that first touchdown, we were up by at least 2 scores the rest of the game. So even though it was 9 points at certain times in this game, I still felt pretty comfortable. You saw this defense play really well. They gave up the special teams touchdown after the Knox touchdown, and you were like, whoa, hold on a second. But you knew this team was able to pull it together. You just felt very confident this whole game, or at least I did. I'm not sure about the rest of you all. You just had a different feeling about this game than some of the other ones that we've played so far this season, especially coming off that Cleveland game where you just never felt good the whole game. Ravens lost to Browns and Chiefs. So, yeah, the Ravens lost to the Browns. So that's the bad team I was talking about there. Epic War. Jets beat Dallas. Again, kind of proof to show that. But yeah, like Daniel's saying, the Bills need to focus on the Broncos. Now, we can talk about whatever we want, right? We're not going to be there on Sunday. But in that locker room, starting tomorrow, when they come back to watch some film study, get into the weight room, they need to focus on Denver. That's going to give us enough problems in certain matchups. The Denver special teams, not sure how they are, but we know our special teams is, so we need to watch out for that. There are a couple things we need to watch out, including Philip Lindsay. We know about Von Miller, the chaos that he can create on defense, possibly create some turnovers, which obviously you force a couple turnovers, you're in any game that way. So the Bills have their hands full with the Denver Broncos. And let's take a look at that game. Schedules don't mean anything. You go 1-0 each week, right? 1-0 each week. That's what everyone preaches. And right now, we talk about quarters, right? Talk about the first, second, and third quarter. The Bills went 3-1 in the first quarter, went 3-1 in the second quarter, and now we are 1-1 in this third quarter, looking to go 2-1 next week. We'll see what happens. But again, guys, we're gonna have you covered right here on Believers Talk. We again go live every Thursday for our pregame. So we'll go live Thursday for our pregame. We'll have a video every day this week, it seems, unless there's no injuries on Friday. But Monday we give you our live postgame for every single Buffalo Bills game, and that includes next week at the same time for the postgame against the Denver Broncos. Every Tuesday from here to the end of the season, we're gonna give you a playoff picture look in the AFC. Look how the Bills are looking in the playoff picture. Show you some of the games coming up this week that the Bills, if you're a Bills fan, you might have rooting interest in one way or another. And then Wednesday, I give you my pick'em video. I pick every single game straight up and against the spread. Thursday, I give you my pregame this week against the Denver Broncos. Join me Thursday, halftime of Thursday Night Football, as I pregame the game between the Denver Broncos and the Buffalo Bills. And then Friday, I have you covered with the most recent injury report leading up to that Sunday game. Again, we talked about Ty Nsekhe for a second. I want to bring him back up into the mix. Now, Cody Ford looks like he is going to be the plug-in at right tackle. We do have Bates, who is normally on the inactive list on Sundays for the past couple of weeks, but he is a tackle who would be available. Now, I want to know, do you guys have confidence in Bates, or would you want to look at free agency? I was looking at some of the names in free agency, and one name in particular that jumped out at me was Jeremy Parnell. Used to be offensive tackle for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now they say, he was a pretty good offensive tackle about 5-6 years ago. He's getting a little older, 33 years old. So you wonder if we pick him up now with only 7 games remaining on schedule, does he have enough in the tank to play half a season? If he has enough in the tank to play half a season as an offensive tackle, and we're still rotating him and Cody Ford, is that worth taking a look at? Now, again, maybe we want to give Bates a chance. We really haven't done that yet this season, and we keep Bates on the active roster for a reason. Ryan Bates might have a great role in this offense now that he will be subbing in for Ty Nsekhe, right? We're not sure how much time Cody Ford is still going to have in there. We know at the beginning of the season, it was definitely Ty Nsekhe outperforming Cody Ford. As we've moved on, we've seen Cody Ford get better. Not going to say he's where we want him to be, but he has gotten better. So we'll see if the Buffalo Bills try to do anything at that tackle position. If they want to bring in a free agent, I looked up some. We have Jeremy Parnell, we have Mike Khalil, are the two big names that I saw out there. There are a couple guys that we've seen in the past here in Buffalo, and Jordan Mills. You talk about Jeremiah Searles. There are a couple names out there that we could pick up. So do you guys want to pick up somebody to add to the 53-man roster? Or are you guys good with Ryan Bates coming in and filling that role? Again, we haven't given Ryan Bates much of a shot, so maybe this is worth that shot. We are not sure. I'm not sure if we want to keep Cody Ford in there for a whole game. I like him in that rotating aspect, but the injury to Ty Nsekhe is not looking good. Early indicators say he might be done for the season, so that's kind of a shame. But I will keep you up to date on that injury and all breaking Buffalo Bills news. Epic Gross says, I live in Omaha, Nebraska, which is 2 hours from Kansas City. I hope the Bills play at KC in the first round because I'm going to be there. I hope the Bills... the way it's looking, I mean, everyone's afraid of KC, but again, KC's up 10-9 well into the third quarter. So I'm not sure why everyone's scared of Kansas City. Obviously, that offense runs on big plays, but when they don't get the big plays, we see what happens to their offense. And KC might not even win that division. For all we know, we'll be playing Oakland, and KC will be on the wild card team if they make the playoffs at all. Again, even if KC loses this game, they're now tied, or maybe even a half game back of Oakland and behind the Buffalo Bills for that 6th seed in the AFC wildcard. So the Bills actually would be leading, I think, 4 divisions with their record right now at 7-3. So for as much as the media hates on the Buffalo Bills, for how much we hate on the Buffalo Bills sometimes, especially if I lost to Cleveland, again, relax. I told you last week to relax. I'll tell you this week to relax. Looks good for a week, but we need that consistency. But man, 17-9 now, says Daniel. I'm not sure who scored for Kansas City, but hey, it's 17 points. It's 17 points. The Buffalo Bills scored 37 yesterday. Buffalo Bills getting that scoring average up, which we like to see as well. They were at 19.3 to start yesterday's game, so that obviously went up yesterday. Good things out of this game between the Buffalo Bills and Miami Dolphins. Again, the Buffalo Bills win this one 37-20, improved to 7-3 on the season. Again, guys, join me all this week as I will have you covered throughout the week. Again, we'll have videos every single day this week. Today I had my post-game video. Of course, tomorrow I will be giving you a look at the playoff picture as it sits after week 11 and what the Buffalo Bills, the fan base, should be looking at week 12. Obviously, we control our own destiny. We just want to see the Bills keep winning. What's good, Mafia? This is Chris Spencer. Welcome, Chris. Ending my stream here shortly so you guys can go back to Monday Night Football. Third quarter has started. The Chiefs already scored. But I will be live Tuesday, or not, I'm sorry, I won't be live, but I will be posting a video tomorrow about the current playoff picture after week 11. What the Buffalo Bills need. Obviously, they control their own destiny, keep winning. But I'll let you guys know which games the Bills fans should have a rooting interest in, right? Which teams losing would help the Buffalo Bills. It starts this Thursday, Houston, Indianapolis. Both teams tied for that division lead, and then both teams tied for that number 6 seed as well. So obviously someone's going to take the loss there. That really helps the Buffalo Bills either way, no matter how you slice it. One team's going to win the division, one team's going to lose. So I'll let you know what other games are like that this weekend and what I think the Buffalo Bills would love to see happen to continue to improve on that wild card place. Maybe even still fight with New England for that division. Still a lot of tough games for New England too. Let's not forget about that. Wednesday, I will give you my pick'em videos, right? Again, I pick them against the spread and I pick them straight up. Didn't have a great week this week, but wasn't terrible either. So hopefully you'll see that in my record, reflection in my record. But I give you that on Wednesday. Then Thursday, I'm live for the pregame between the Buffalo Bills and the Denver Broncos. And then Friday, I come on here. Maybe I'm gonna be live now that I can be live from my mobile devices. Thanks to you guys for the 1,000 subscribers. I'll be giving you the most up-to-date injury report for the Buffalo Bills. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, like this video, and again, go ahead and leave a comment. If you guys are not watching this live and you're watching this on replay, leave a comment. Still love getting back to you guys. Look at my description below, guys. You will find my link for Facebook, Twitter. You'll find the link for #sports. You'll find a link for BewareTheStampede.com. Find a link for Sportscaster, all in the description below. So make sure you check that out as well. I appreciate all you guys coming in here, joining me late on this Monday for the post-game edition of Believers Talk. Again, the Buffalo Bills 7-3 on the season. Gotta love it if you're a Bills fan. Time to believe in this team. I look forward to talking to you all soon. Until I do, go Bills.